सच्चिदानन्दं वासुदेवं व्रजप्रियं धर्मसंस्थापकं वीरं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्।
अदरं मधुरं वदनं मधुरं नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्।
वचनं मधुरं चरितं मधुरं वसनं मधुरं वलितं मधुरं चलितं मधुरं भ्रमितं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्।
वेणुर्मधुरो रेणुर्मधुराः पाणिर्मधुराः पादौ मधुरौ नृत्यं मधुरं सख्यं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्।
गीतं मधुरं पीतं मधुरं भुक्तं मधुरं सुप्तं मधुरं रूपं मधुरं तिलकं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्।
तरणं मधुरं तरणं मधुरं हरणं मधुरं स्मरणं मधुरं वमितं मधुरं शमितं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्।
कुञ्जा मधुरा माला मधुरा यमुना मधुरा वीथी मधुरा सलिलं मधुरं कमलं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्।
लीला मधुरा युक्तं मधुरं मुक्तं मधुरं रुष्टं मधुरं शिष्टं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गोपा मधुरा गावो मधुरा यष्टिर्मधुरा सृष्टिर्मधुरा दलितं मधुरं फलितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
अधरं मधुरं वदनं मधुरं नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
वचनं मधुरं चरितं मधुरं वसनं मधुरं वलितं मधुरं चलितं मधुरं भ्रमितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
वेणुर्मधुरो रेणुर्मधुराः पाणिर्मधुराः पादौ मधुरौ नृत्यं मधुरं सख्यं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गीतं मधुरं पीतं मधुरं भुक्तं मधुरं सुप्तं मधुरं रूपं मधुरं तिलकं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
तरणं मधुरं तरणं मधुरं हरणं मधुरं स्मरणं मधुरं वमितं मधुरं शमितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
कुञ्जा मधुरा माला मधुरा यमुना मधुरा वीथी मधुरा सलिलं मधुरं कमलं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
मधुरा लीला मधुरा युक्तं मधुरं मुक्तं मधुरं हृष्टं मधुरं शिष्टं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गोपा मधुरा गावो मधुरा यष्टिर्मधुरा सृष्टिर्मधुरा दलितं मधुरं फलितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
अधरं मधुरं वदनं मधुरं नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
वचनं मधुरं चरितं मधुरं वसनं मधुरं वलितं मधुरं चलितं मधुरं भ्रमितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
वेणुर्मधुरो रेणुर्मधुरा पाणिर्मधुरः पादौ मधुरौ नृत्यं मधुरं सख्यं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गीतं मधुरं पीतं मधुरं भुक्तं मधुरं सुप्तं मधुरं रूपं मधुरं तिलकं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
तरणं मधुरं तरणं मधुरं हरणं मधुरं स्मरणं मधुरं वमितं मधुरं शमितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
कुञ्जा मधुरा माला मधुरा यमुना मधुरा वीथी मधुरा सलिलं मधुरं कमलं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
मधुरा लीला मधुरा युक्तं मधुरं मुक्तं मधुरं दृष्टं मधुरं शिष्टं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गोपा मधुरा गावो मधुरा यष्टिर्मधुरा सृष्टिर्मधुरा दलितं मधुरं फलितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
तज निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारी बरनौ रघुबर विमल जसु जोदायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिवे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिवे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज संवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतई सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सकै कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज संहारो आपे तीनों लोक हांकते कांपे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असवर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय।
जय श्री कृष्ण।
सच्चिदानन्दं व्रजप्रियम् धर्मसंस्थापकं वीरम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय श्री कृष्ण जी।
Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna to all of you. Om Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane Pranatah Kleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Today we are going to learn more about the divine knowledge of the 18th chapter, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, which means the yoga of liberation through renunciation, given in the Bhagavad Gita. So let's start the session with the divine blessings of Yogeshwar Shri Krishna and Param Pujya Swamiji Shri Govinda Dev Giriji Maharaj. Before starting, I would like to share guidelines for online interpretation sessions. Dear participants, if you face any technical issues during the session, please follow these suggestions. No sound. If there's no sound, plug in headphones or increase the volume of your phone or computer. If the chat box is continuously interrupting, then tap the bell icon at the top right corner to mute notifications. If the voice is breaking or cutting, check your internet connection. If possible, use Wi-Fi instead of mobile data. If the screen is not visible, click on Start Video in Zoom. If screen is blurry, this happens due to slow internet speed. Try switching your network. Zoom keeps disconnecting. You can also watch the session via the YouTube link. If Zoom suddenly closes, rejoin using the meeting link. Now, to begin this sacred session, let's start with the Prarthana by Srimati Neelam Mahabaleshwar Karji. She is from Pune, Maharashtra. She joined Geeta Pariwar in September 2024 and is currently serving as a Geeta coordinator, GC. Thank you so much, Neelam Didi ji.
Thank you, Riya Didi. Jai Shri Krishna. Should I start?
Yes, Didi, sure.
Yeah. Vasudeva Sutan Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Shri Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Jai Shri Krishna to everyone.
Thank you so much, Didi.
And
Now let's move on to the Prajvalan. For this, I would like to welcome Srimati Meera Vishwanathan ji. She is from Thane, Mumbai. She joined Geeta Pariwar in September 2024 and is currently learning in level 4, while also offering her seva as Tech Seva for level 2 and level 4 and GC for level 1 and level 2.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृतां कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदां नुमः.
Thank you so much, Meera ji. Now I would like to announce something. You can share the YouTube and Zoom links with your friends and your loved ones so that they too can join these sessions and imbibe the divine and pure knowledge of the Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā. Also, grammar classes are being arranged tomorrow to help us chant the mantras more fluently and understand Sanskrit better. And the Geeta Jayanti Mahotsav will be celebrated from 15th to 31st of December. I hope to see you all there, worshipping and diving deeper into Gita's sacred wisdom. Now, let's move ahead for the Vivechan, and for this, I would like to welcome Shri Vikas Vaidya. He is from Pune, Maharashtra. He serves as a trainer for levels 1 to 4, is also involved in trainer selection and training, and also contributes to Vishnu Sahasranam Vivechan as part of Pune Geeta Pariwar. Additionally, he guides Geeta Vratis in preparing for the Shungeri Peeth Geeta exam, where he has received the first prize from Param Pujya Jagat Guru Shankaracharya. He shares the divine knowledge of Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā with utmost sincerity and clarity, helping seekers work steadily on their spiritual path. We are truly eager to learn from his enlightening words and gain a deeper understanding of the 18th chapter today. Over to you, Vikas ji.
A warm welcome to all. Vasudevasudan Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरण कमलों में कोटि कोटि नमन. We are discussing Adhyay 18th. Last time we had discussed up to slok number 20. 20th slok was Sarvabhuteshu Yenaikam Bhavamavyayamikshate Avivaktam Vivakteshu Tajnanam Vidya Satvikam. So Sri Krishna Bhagavan had started explaining Satvik, Rajasi and Tamasi, Jnana, Karta, Karma, Dhruti, all this. So last time we discussed about the Satvik Jnana. So what is Rajasi Jnana? That will start with its first shloka, slok number 21. Shri Krishna Bhagavan says, Prathaktvena tu yajnanan nana bhavan prathakvidhan vetti sarveshu bhuteshu tajnanam vidhi rajasam. Vidhi, know that this is the Rajasi Jnana, which is that knowledge is to be considered in the mode of passion. That means Rajasi knowledge, by which one sees manifold living entities in diverse bodies as individual and unconnected. So each body is having a separate entity. So in Rajasic knowledge, the vision of unity always lacks. The Rajasic who has not disciplined his mind sees different things and objects in different ways. So it is actuated by the feelings of attraction and repulsions. Rajasic Dhyan. The Sattvic sees behind the surface, but the Rajasic cannot penetrate the surface. Sattvic then can penetrate the surface and can see what is below that surface. But the Rajasic then cannot penetrate that surface and is therefore at the mercy of variations of senses at the surface level only. Thus, he gets involved in the love-hate, loss-gain, this kind of relationships, this kind of saga of relationships. And this Jnana cannot grasp the underlying spiritual invisible truth because it cannot penetrate the surface. It remains at surface only all the time. So Shri Krishna Bhagavan here explains the Rajasi knowledge. That knowledge is said to be in the mode of passion, Rajasi knowledge, where the world is not seen in its connection with the God. And thus the living beings are perceived in their plurality. Each individual is different, not connected by anything. With distinctions of race, class, creed, sect, nationality, and so on and so forth. Such knowledge divides the one human society along innumerable lines. We see it. In the caste itself, there are hundreds of castes. So Rajasi people they view everything as different. They don't see the common thread binding all human beings. When knowledge unites, it is in the mode of goodness. It is called sattvic knowledge when it unites the humanity. And when the knowledge divides, it is in the mode of passion. That is rajasic knowledge. We'll conclude with tamasi knowledge. What is tamasi knowledge? And then we'll see how they differ from each other with a small anecdote. So what is tamasi jnana? Yattu krishnavadekasmin karye saktamahaitukam atatvarthabadalpaincha tattamasamudharatam. That is tamas. That knowledge which sticks to the concept of single body as the whole, which is without reason, without basis in truth, and is trivial, is declared to be tamasic jnana. So at least Rajasic person was believing that different things are there in different bodies. This fellow says, I don't know other bodies at all. What is there in me is the everything. That is the whole. So indolence, insolence, irrationality, lack of inquisitiveness, and triviality are the characteristics of tamoguni people. Such people are short-sighted and believe in quick and crude remedies. Their approach is oriented to the body and its gross pursuits only. Finer pursuits such as higher life, higher principles of life, and spiritualism do not attract their mind at all. So when the intellect is working under the strong influence of tamoguna, it clings to the fragmental concept as if it were the complete truth. My body is the complete truth. I don't know about any of the rest of the things. So people with such views often become fanatics who are so self-centered. So they become fanatics about what they perceive to be the absolute truth. मैं जो कहता हूँ वही सही है. I don't know about anything else. We see some religious talking like this. So their understanding is usually not even rational, not grounded in the scriptures or in the reality, and yet they forcefully desire to impose their beliefs on others. The history of humankind has repeatedly seen such religious zealots who imagine themselves being self-appointed champions of the God, as if they know the God, only they know the God. And such people keep depending on their faith. They don't try to even understand what is other people's faith. They fanatically try to persuade others to change their religious beliefs and find few followers with the same kind of intellect, creating the phenomena of a blind leading another blind. We see some people follow blind people also. Without understanding what is the truth in their saying, they blindly follow them. However, in the name of serving God and religion, they create disruption in the society and obstruct its harmonious growth. So this is the tamasi jnana. Now, having discussed sattvic jnana, rajasic jnana, and tamasi jnana, knowledge, wisdom, it is time to tell an anecdote to clarify the difference between these three. So in the same story, we'll see three characters, one having sattvic jnana, another fellow having rajasic jnana, and another third fellow is having tamasic jnana. So the story goes like this. Once in a quiet Gurukul on the banks of Ganga, there lived three students. Let us name them some name. Anand, Bhavesh, Charan, whatever. Anand, Bhavesh and Charan. They all studied under the same Guru, who was known for his deep wisdom. Guru was a real Guru, deep wisdom. One day, the Guru called all three of his disciples and gave them a simple task. He handed them each a lamp, saying that use this lamp to find the truth about what knowledge really is. Take this lamp, go wherever you want to go, and find what is the truth about the knowledge. They went out in the world. The first disciple, Charan wandered a little distance, soon grew tired. He said to himself, Why should I struggle to know anything? Why should I know anything? What is the need? The world is too complex. Whatever I see is the truth. Why should I go deeper? He used the lamp to light his hut, sleep comfortably in his hut. When people came to ask questions, he said, "Don't waste my time. I want to sleep. Everything is just what it appears to be. I don't want to know anything further." He accepted the falsehood as truth and darkness as light. This is Tamasic Jnana. Where ignorance prevails, where one mistakes illusion for reality and remains attached to limited selfish perception out of laziness. So this Charan was a Tamasic student. Next was Bhavesh. Bhavesh took his lamp and ran through the marketplace. He said, "I will use this lamp to know all the things. How to earn more, how to gain fame, how to defeat others, and how to rise up and up." He read every book with the help of that lamp, argued with scholars, collected facts about different subjects, but his lamp burnt fast, flickering with pride. With every piece of knowledge he was gaining, he was getting a lot of pride, ego, and also getting a lot of desires, kamanas. He told everybody, "My knowledge is supreme. I am the great. Those who disagree with me are fools. They don't know anything." Yet inside, he was always restless and unsatisfied. This is Rajasic Jnana. Knowledge driven by ambition and ego, which divides and judges, saying this is right, that is wrong. It brings activity, of course, yes, but not the internal peace. So that is Rajasic Jnana. Now the third student, his name was Ananda. That fellow Ananda, he took the lamp, sat in meditation near the river. He looked at the water. He looked at the sky, the stars, and the lamp that he was having in front of him, and thought, this same light shines in all. The lamp, the river, the air, the stars, the moon, all are expressing all are expressing one truth, one light. He used his lamp not to boast or to escape, but to understand unity in diversity. What is the common factor in all this? The lamp, the river, the air, the stars, the moon, everything. When his guru returned, Anand bowed down to him and he said, "Gurudev, I have learned that knowledge is not for pride or for comfort. It is for realizing oneness. It is for realizing oneness in different things. The same consciousness pervades everything." The Guru smiled and said, "You understood the essence of Sattvic Jnana, that which sees one unchanging reality in all beings." So what is the moral of this small story? Sattvic Jnana, that is the pure knowledge, sees unity in diversity, understands that all beings are manifestations of one divine reality, leads to compassion, humility, and peace. Rajasic Jnana divides reality, seeing separateness and differences, motivated by ego, competition, and restlessness. So that is Rajasic Jnana. And what was that Tamasic Jnana? The ignorant knowledge. It clings to the illusion, to the superstition, to the darkness, to the laziness, denies the truth, and remains bound in ignorance. So that was the Tamasic Jnana. So essence of these three shlokas is that in darkness, that means in tamas, it is unused. Knowledge is like a lamp. That knowledge lamp in darkness, in tamas, it remains unused. In storm, that means in rajas, it flickers with pride. It is used, but it flickers with pride. And in stillness, that means in sattvic, it shines steadily, revealing the same light in all beings. So this is, in short, what is Sattvic Jnana, Rajasic Jnana, and Tamasic Jnana. Now, having discussed Buddhi and that means Jnana, now God is going to tell us about the karma, action. Three types of actions: Sattvic karma, Rajasic karma, and Tamasic karma. Slok 23. Niyatam sangarahitam aragadveshata kritam avala prepsuna karma yattat sattvika muchyate. This is Sattvic karma. Karma, action, that is in accordance with the scriptures. Niyatam. And sangarahitam, free from attachment and aversion. Ragadveshata. And done without desire for rewards. Afala prepsuna. Yattat sattvika muchyate. Is in the mode of goodness. That is Sattvic karma. So action that is in accordance with the scriptures, free from attachment and aversion, and is done without desire for rewards. That is in the mode of goodness. That is Sattvic karma. Now, have you explained three types of knowledge? Sattva, Rajatamo, Buddhi. Shri Krishna now explains the three kinds of karma, action. In the passage of history, many people, social scientists and philosophers, have given their opinion regarding what is proper karma, what is proper action. The views differ from philosopher to philosopher, from scientist to scientist. A few of these opinions which are recorded are: the Epicurean of Greece was in 3rd century BC, believed eat, drink and marry is the right action. Eat, marry and drink. ये proper कर्म है, ऐसा कर्म करना चाहिए. That was belief in 3 centuries before the BC. More refined was the philosophy of Hobbes of England, who was there in 1588 to 1679. And Helvetius of France was there from 1715 to 1771. They said that if everyone becomes selfish and does not think of others, there will be total chaos in the world. So they recommended that along with personal sense gratification, we should also care for others. For example, if the husband is sick, then the wife should take care of him. And if the wife is sick, the husband should take care of her. In this case, where helping others conflicts with the self-interest, they advised that the self-interest should be given priority. Serve yourself first, then if you have time, then look at others. That was the thought. Next, Joseph Butler was there from 1692 to 1752. His philosophy went beyond this. He said that the idea of serving others after catering to our own self-interest was wrong. ये सही नहीं है. Helping others is a natural human virtue. Even a lioness feeds her cubs while remaining hungry herself. So service to others must take priority. Not service to self, but serving others should take priority. However, Butler's concept of service was limited to alleviation of material sufferings. कोई भूखा है तो उसको खाना खिला दो. That's all. For example, if a person is hungry, he should be fed. But this does not really solve the problems, because after 6 hours, the person is hungry again. So how does it help that person also permanently? After Butler came Jeremy Bentham. He was from 1748 to 1832. And John Stuart Mill was there from 1806 to 1873. They recommended the principle of doing what is the best for majority, democracy. They suggested following the majority opinion for determining the proper behavior. Whatever majority says, that is proper action. But if the majority is wrong or is misguided, then this philosophy falls through. Because even 1,000 ignorant people cannot match the quality of the thought of one learned person. We see it in democracy. One learned person, he loses the elections, and some Tom Dick Harry wins against him because the voters are after that fellow, who may be ignorant, who may be less intelligent. But democracy, a learned person, he does not win the election. Majority. Others, philosophers, they recommended following the dictates of conscience. Whatever conscience says, right, that is right. They suggested that it is the best guide in determining the proper behavior. Conscious. However, there is a problem here also. Problem is that everyone's conscience is different. My conscience and your conscience is same. No. My conscience and somebody else's conscience is same. May not be. Even in a family, two children have different moral values and conscience. Isn't it? Besides, even the same person's conscience changes over the time. If a murderer, he feels bad about killing people, one first day when he kills somebody, he feels very bad about it. But if he gets into the habit of it, he will say, initially I felt bad, but later it became a trivial matter for me, like killing mosquitoes. I feel no more remorse for that. So the conscience of people also changes. So what is proper action then? Regarding proper action, our Mahabharata states, if you do not like it when others behave with you in a certain way, then don't behave with them in that way. But always verify that your behavior is in accordance with the scriptures. This is what the Mahabharata says. How true it is. Conduct yourself with others as you desire them to behave with you. Here Shri Krishna declares in a similar way that action in the mode of goodness is done, is doing one's duty in accordance with the scriptures. He further adds that such work should be without attachment of aversion and without any desire to enjoy the fruits. So that was the sattvic thing. Sattvic karma. Now what is Rajasic karma? Yattu kamepsuna karma sahankarana va punaha kriyate bahulayasan tadraj samudaratam. Action, karma, that is prompted by selfish desire, enacted with pride and full of stress, is in the nature of passion. That is the Rajasi karma. The nature of Rajoguna is that it creates intense desire for materialistic enhancement and sensual enjoyment. So action in the mode of passion is motivated by huge ambition and characterized by intense efforts. For fulfilling the kamana desire, you have to take a lot of efforts, intense efforts. It entails heavy toll on great physical and mental fatigue on those people, but they are prepared to do it. An example of Rajasic action, Rajasic karma, is the corporate world. Management executives complain all the time of stress. This is because their actions are usually motivated by pride, inordinate ambition for power, prestige, and wealth, of course. The efforts of our political leaders, over-anxious parents, my son should come merit in the merit list, over-anxious parents, and business people are also often typical examples of Rajasic karma, mode of passion, actions in the mode of passion. Now, having discussed Sattvic karma and Rajasic karma, what is Tamasic karma? God says, Slok 25, Anubandham kshayam himsa anavekshaja paurusham mohadarabhyate karma yattat tamasamuchyate. That is called Tamasic karma. What is Tamasic karma? That karma, that action is declared to be in the mode of ignorance, Tamasic karma, which is begun out of delusion, without thought of one's ability. मैं कर सकता हूँ कि नहीं कर सकता हूँ, but without giving any thought on this, they start the work. तामसी कर्म. And disregarding consequences. क्या होगा मेरा काम करने का तरीका ये? What will be the result of this karma? No thoughts about it. Loss and injury to others is also doesn't come to their mind at all. So that is called the tamasi karma. The intellect of those in tamoguna is covered by the fog of ignorance. That is the problem with tamoguna, ignorance. They are oblivious to what is right and what is wrong, and are only interested in themselves and their self-interest. बाकी दुनिया गई भाड़ में, हमको कुछ लेना नहीं दुनिया से. They are so much self-centered. They pay no heed to the money or resources at hand. Whether I have enough resources to complete this work, whether I have enough money to complete this karma, no thoughts about it. Or they even don't think about the hardship it may cause to others. Such work brings harm to them as well as to others. But they don't think about it. Shri Krishna uses the word kshaya, meaning decay. Anuvandam kshaya himsa. So tamasic actions cause decay of one's health and vitality. It is a waste of efforts, a waste of time, and waste of resources. Typical examples of tamasic karma are gambling, stealing, corruption, drinking, and other papa karmas. So these are the three karmas: sattvic karma, rajasic karma, and tamasic karma. Having discussed sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic karma, now, yes, you know it well. Now is the time to tell an anecdote to clearly make the difference between these three karmas. The story goes like this. Once a king decided to build a beautiful garden in his palace courtyard. He called 3 gardeners. Let us give them some names. Suresh, Ramesh, Mahesh, whatever. Suresh, Ramesh, Mahesh. Okay. He gave them, each of them, a plot of land, seeds, and tools in his courtyard. He said, in 1 month, I will come and see how you have cared for your garden. The first gardener, Mahesh was lazy, careless. He said, what is the use of hard work? Anyway, who knows if the king will even come to see the garden? Bataya 1 महीने बाद आऊंगा, but whether he will really come or not, who knows? He is so busy, man. He threw the seeds on the ground without plowing the ground, forgot to water the seeds, and spent his days sleeping in the garden, eating and sleeping. When the king returned, Mahesh's patch was full of weeds and dry soil. King asked, what is this? Kya ho gaya? He blamed the rain. I did my work, the rain did not fall. The rain was very scanty. The sun was very strong. And even the seeds were not of good quality, Raja. So he blamed every possible thing that came to his mind. He said, nothing grows here. It is not my fault. This is tamasic karma. Action done without proper understanding, proper care, and proper responsibility. It is lazy, careless, and destructive. The doer acts in delusion and without thinking of his duty or the consequences. What will happen? What king will say? Not thinking about the consequences. The second gardener, Ramesh. Ramesh worked very hard. Every morning, he ran to his garden, watered the plants constantly, and looked at other people's plots also, how they are doing. He thought, I must have the most beautiful garden so the king will reward me. He compared, completed, and grew restless. He wanted praise, he wanted recognition, and he wanted personal gains. His garden looked impressive, but he was never at peace, always mentally disturbed. So when the king came, Ramesh stood proudly in front of king and he said, "Look at my garden. Look at my garden. It is the best. I deserve the reward which you have declared." The king smiled, but he saw total pride on the face of Ramesh. This is Rajasic karma. Action done with desire and attachment to results. The doer seeks success, fame, and reward. It brings tension and temporary satisfaction, but no inner peace. So that is Rajasic karma. Now, what is the Sattvic karma? The third gardener, Suresh. What did he do, Suresh? Suresh said, "This piece of land which the king has given to me is not my garden. It belongs to king. I have been asked to merely work on it." So he did not have the sense of ownership of that garden. He says, this garden belongs to the king. My job is to serve the king and nurture this garden. Every day, he worked quietly, watering, cleaning, and caring for the plants with love and devotion. He did not compete or worry about the rewards. When tired, he would rest under the trees and thank the Lord for giving him work that brought joy to him. After a month, when the king arrived, Suresh's garden was blooming with fresh flowers and fruits. The fragrance spread across the courtyard. When the king praised Suresh, Suresh humbly said, "Maharaj, it is your grace. I only did my duty." The king was deeply pleased and he said, "This is true service. Action done without ego and for the good of all." This is called Sattvic karma. Action done without attachment, with pure heart and for the welfare of others. It is guided by dharma, righteousness, performed as an offering to the God, and it brings peace and fulfillment. What is the moral of story? Tamasic karma is done in ignorance, laziness, or carelessness. It harms oneself and others also. Rajasic karma done with desire, done with greed, done with ego. It binds the doer with stress and restlessness. And what is Sattvic karma? Done selflessly, without desire for results, without claiming the ownership. It purifies the heart and leads to the peace of mind and liberation. That is Sattvic karma. Our life is a garden. We do three types of karmas: Sattvic karma, Rajasic karma, Tamasic karma. Life is a garden. Kshetra, Kshetra, Vibhaga, Yoga, we know in 13th Adhyay. This body is a garden, is a farm, Kshetra. When we act without thought, that means we do the weeds of ignorance grow. When we act with selfish ambition, Rajasi, the flowers bloom, but soon they fade. And the restlessness comes. When we act with love and surrender, our inner garden, it blossoms eternally. So if we consider life as a garden, then we should be careful about our karma, what we are doing. Whether doing tamasic karma, rajasic karma, or sattvic karma. Okay, having explained about the sattvic, rajasi, and tamasic karma, now Shri Krishna Bhagavan explains sattvic, rajasi, and tamasic karta, the doer, the performer. Sloka 26. Mukta sango nahambadi dhritis sahasamanvidaha siddha siddhyor nirvikara karta sattvika uchyate. The karta, the performer, is said to be in the mode of goodness, sattvic karta, when he or she is free from egoism and attachment, endowed with enthusiasm, dhritis and determination, and equipoised in success and failure. Siddha siddhyo nirvikara. So Shri Krishna Bhagavan had earlier mentioned knowledge, jnana, action, karma, and karta of three kinds. Having described the categories of two of them, now knowledge and action, he now moves on to three kinds of performance of the action. That is the karta. He clarifies that those situated in the mode of goodness are not inactive. They are always doing something. They are not inactive, not lazy. Rather, they work with enthusiasm and determination. The difference is that their work is performed in proper consciousness. Sattvic doers are mukta sangha. Mukta sangha means they do not try to cling to things in worldly attachment. Sangha is attachment. Nor do they believe that the worldly things can bestow satisfaction to the soul. Hence, they work with noble motives. And since their intentions are pure, they are filled with utsaha, jhil, dhrutyusahasa, utsaha, and dhruti, strong resolve, dhrutyusahasa manvitaha, in their endeavors, in their efforts. Their mental attitude results in the less dissipation of energies while working. Because in mind they are at peace. Thus they are able to work tirelessly to fulfill their sublime motives. Though they may accomplish great things, they are anahambadi, free from egoism, and they give all credit for the success to the God. A sattvic person is in full control of his inner self and is not bothered about the external world. He performs all actions with a detached mind as a part of duty. That means his karma is a nishkam karma. He is detached and his all actions are in conformity with the divine will. Failures neither discourage his determination nor does success inflate his enthusiasm. Because he is always above the ego consciousness, equipoised in success and failure. So those who sit all day along turning rosary beads, japamala, and justify their idleness by saying, we do this because we are sattvic disposition people, are in reality camouflaging their inertia. A sattvic person is jealous, full of not excitement but enthusiasm. Moreover, this enthusiasm is coupled with patience, courage, and determination. And this is a wonderful combination. Patience, courage, and determination. What else you want? Tattu sahasamanvidaha. Such a sattvic person makes even God anxious to meet him. ये कौन बंदा है? Who has patience, courage, and determination. All three. A small story about this sattvic person. What is easier? We go looking for him, the God, or we do something when he comes looking for us. The God comes looking for us. What is easier? The king was walking on the terrace of his palace in the evening. Suddenly, eyes fell on a Swamiji walking below in the marketplace. Now, saints are saints, Swamijis are Swamijis. Whether they are in the marketplace or in the forest, they are lost in their own world. कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता है where they are. The king realized that this Swamiji was walking in the bazaar full of joy, not disturbed by the crowd around him, as if there was no one else in the market except him. There seemed to be neither anger nor hatred towards anyone on his face. The king was so pleased with his ease and joy of that Swamiji that he became anxious to meet him immediately. He ordered his servants, go and bring that Swamiji immediately here. If he had himself come down from such a high palace, it was possible that the Swamiji would have gone too far. If I go down to look for him in the market, by the time I go to the marketplace, he would have gone far. He would go far off. Then I cannot catch him. The servants could not think of anything else. So what they did, they threw a rope, a long rope from the top of terrace and dragged that Swamiji up by trapping him. Within a few moments, the Swamiji was brought in front of the king. The king apologized to the Swamiji for being brought up by his servants in that way. The Swamiji simply forgave him and asked, "What was the haste, my lord, that you got me pulled up with a rope? Itni kya jaldi hai bhai?" The king said, "I suddenly became so restless to find the answer to a question that I did not want to lose you, which is why you had to be brought here like this. I am sorry if you have suffered like this." The Swamiji smiled and said, "Such anxiousness, which means it is a rare and deep question. What is your question?" The king said, "The question is how to find the Lord or God soon. I feel you alone can give me a satisfying answer. Please show me the way." The Swamiji said, "Your Majesty, you know the answer to this question very well. Why are you asking me? You are just unable to understand it. Widen your perspective and think big. You will get the answer within a moment." The king said, "If I really knew the answer to this question, why would I have been so upset? And how could I have caused you such a trouble of getting you up with the rope? I am bewildered, I am confused. You are the Swamiji. You show everyone the right path. So show me the right path." The king was almost pleading, and the Swamiji was listening silently as if he had no pity for him. After keeping silent for some time, the Swamiji said, "Listen to me, listen to the answer to your confusion about the question that you are asking me." Swamiji said, "If I had thought of meeting you, there would have been many obstacles and it would have taken me a long time to meet you. I was in the marketplace. If this thought had come to my mind that I want to meet the king, it would have taken days for me. I would have come, informed your courtiers, they would have taken the message to you. If we had free time, perhaps we would have met. Still, it was not necessary whether our meeting would have been possible or not. But when the thought of meeting me came in your mind so strongly, think how long did it take for you to meet me? Our meeting took place within a moment. You threw a rope, pulled me up, and we met instantly. You tried your best for me to be presented before you. The result was that you got me in front of you within a few moments." King, similarly, if the Lord is anxious to find someone, then the Lord will immediately appear before him. The king instantly asked, "But how and why would the idea of meeting us would ever come in God's mind?" Swamiji smiled and he said, "How did you get the idea of meeting me?" The king said, "When I saw that you were walking in your own tune and you were not paying any attention on the road, in the market, the shops, the houses, the humans, etc., I was so impressed that I thought of meeting you immediately." The Swamiji said, "This is the only way. This is the only way to attain the God, my dear king. In the same way, align yourself to the God, being your single objective. Do not look at anyone else. If you cannot live without him, then the Lord will also become anxious to meet you, and he will come to meet you immediately. Do you have that anxiety to meet the God?" The Swamiji explained such a deep secret in such simple words. Shri Krishna Bhagavan says, the one who is free from attachment, free from ego, full of fortitude and enthusiasm, actions happen effortlessly through such a person. However, remember that it is not necessary that every time all actions of such a person will be successful. Sometimes he may fail also. No? But when faced with failure, such a person is not dejected. Neither does success make him jump in joy, nor does the failure make him distressed or despondent. Thus, such a performer of actions, karta, who stays equanimous in success and failure, is known to be Sattvic Karta. So this is was the Sattvic Karta. Now what is Rajasic Karta? Ragi karma phala prepsur lubdo hinsatmako shuchihi harshashoganvitah karta rajasah parikirtitah. Who is desirous of results of action? Karma phala prepsur lubdo. Who is motivated by attraction and repulsion? Is greedy, has the habit of causing pain to others, hinsatmako, is of impure nature, ashuchi, and affected by happiness and grief, harshashoganvitah. Such a person is a Rajasic Karta. He is a Rajasic person. So attachment to the material propensity is the hallmark of psyche of the Rajasic person, Rajasic Karta. He is always busy piling up assets and fueling his material prosperity all the time. Jealousy, flamboyance, false pride, and tendency to inflict pain on others mark the nature of Rajasic person. His mind is not steady. He is not steady because of selfishness, and such a mind can never be pure. The concept of fairness, self-culture, and refinement are aligned to his nature. Gains make him jubilant, and losses push him in depression. Example: two women met up after a long time, and as normally friends do, they started inquiring about each other's families. Tum kaisi ho, behan, tum kaisi ho, behan, like that. On inquiring how her sick brother was, the other started crying. The poor chap is no more, she said. You know, oh, how much we miss him, how we despair of his death. She wailed very loudly, heartbrokenly. So the other lady, she was a little bit taken aback. I probably asked the wrong question. After consoling her, the friend then inquired the lady's husband. ठीक है, आपको भाई को बुरा हुआ, but how is your husband? Promptly, like a magic, her expressions changed, and with a wide beaming smile, she replied, "Oh, he is doing fine. He is doing fine. He has been promoted recently, and things could not go better for him in his career," she said with a great joy on her face. A moment ago, she was disconsolate, and a moment later, she was so cheerful. Such a melodrama. And that is how very oscillating a Rajasic person's mind is. A young man's uncle was coming down from US to pay him a visit. Over the phone, the uncle informed him that he was getting some latest gadgets, the latest laptop, a domestic robo, some designer's clothes, and an expensive watch. So this fellow's joy knew no bounds. My uncle is bringing all these things for me. Great. He could barely contain his excitement. Then finally the uncle arrived. He had brought along all the promised gifts for his nephew. So the chap welcomed his uncle with great gusto and enthusiasm. Aiye, uncle ji, aiye, aiye. But soon the uncle declared that he would return to USA only after a year and wanted to spend a year in India with his nephew. Well, as you can imagine, the nephew's whole world crashed on hearing of this news, that uncle is going to stay with me for a year. Why will this uncle not go back as the guests normally do? 1 year staying here. In a flash of second, the intense joy changed into intense grief. This is Rajoguna. Moreover, Rajoguna is always carrier of greed, and you cannot stay still when you are consumed by greed. You are always on the move, restlessly hankering after this and that, such that instead of eating what one has on his plate, a Rajoguni will eye what others have, wanting what others have. We also explain this when we go to the restaurant for dinner or lunch. When our plates are served, we look at the plates served on the adjoining table and think, oh, why did not I order that? Mentally, we are also juggling. So while sattvic workers, sattvic kartas are motivated by desire for spiritual growth, rajasic kartas are deeply ambitious for material enhancement. They do not realize that everything here is temporary and will have to be left behind one day. Agitated with immoderate rag. Rag means attachment to the mind and senses. They lack the purity of intentions. They are convinced that the pleasure sought is the present in the worldly things. That is the only objective of my life, to get pleasure. Hence, never satisfied by what comes their way, they are lubdha, greedy for more and more. When they see others succeeding or enjoying more than them, they become hinsatmakaha, envious, bent on making injury also to others. Hinsatmakaha. To fulfill their ends, they sometimes sacrifice morality and hence become ashuchi. Hinsatmaka ashuchi. Impure. When their desires are fulfilled, they become elated. And when they are unsuccessful, they get dejected. In this way, their lives become harsha shokan, a mixture of delight and sorrow. Harsha shokan karta rajasa parikirta. So, this was the rajasi. Now, what is tamasi karta? Stroke 28. Ayukta prakrutastabda shato naishritiko lasaha vishadi dirgha sutri cha karta tamasa uchyate. So, this is tamasi karta. If karta, a performer in the mode of ignorance, tamas, is one who is whimsical, unrefined, arrogant, cheat, insolent, lethargic, depressed. And as if this is not enough, he is lazy also. Ayukta, prakruta, stabda, shato, naishritko rasaha, vishadi, dirgha sutricha. All these are bad qualities. Shri Krishna now gives the description of tamasi kartas. Their mind is blotted with negative obsessions. And thus they are ayukta. Ayukta means undisciplined, whimsical. The scriptures give injunctions regarding what is proper and improper behavior. But these tamasic kartas are stabdha. Stabdha means obstinate, stubborn in their views. For they have closed their ears and mind for the reasoning. Thus they are often shatha. Shatha means cunning. And neshkritika, that means dishonest or people who do papa karma while in their ways. They are prakruta. Prakruta means vulgar. Because they do not believe in controlling their animal instincts. Prakruta. Though they may have duties to perform, they see efforts laborious and painful, so they are alasaha, lazy. Nishkritiko alasaha. And dirgha sutri, procrastinators. A simple short job, they make it long and complicated for no reason. Something which can be done in a day, they will pull on for 10 days, and even then it will not be complete. These ignorable and base thoughts impact them more than anyone else, making them vishadi, unhappy and morose. So all these ayukta, prakruta, stabda, shata, naishkritiko and alasa, vishadi and dirgha sutri, they are the qualities of tamasi karta. Tamasi karta's mind is indolence, insolence, greed, lust, listlessness. He builds castles in the air, but does nothing in practical terms. He indulges in cheating and in lies. A tamasic is a self-destructive person, and he is a threat to others also. Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā also describes types of performance actions. Bhagavad says, The worker who is detached in sattvic nature, the one who is excessively attached to the actions and its result is rajasic, one who is devoid of discrimination is tamasic. But the karta who surrenders to me is transcendental to all the three modes. That is what God wants. So we must understand it clearly that whenever you look for excuses to be unhappy, miserable, grouchy, or morose, then know that this is the sign of excessive tamoguna in us. It is not tamasic being, he will always be tamasic for the whole of his life. Or whole of life is not tamasic. Tamoguna too, like other two gunas, keep fluctuating, sometimes higher, sometimes lower. But he who is prone to excessive tamoguna is called tamoguni. Procrastination, dragging on things, is another attribute of this tamoguni person. Shri Krishna describes in these tamoguni people. They keep dilly-dallying and then an inordinate delay, long delay in accomplishing anything, any action. The task may be same, but a sattva-guni person will carry out the task prudently and dexterously. A rajoguni, on the other hand, he will carry out in a haste. He finishes the work in a hurry and maybe sometimes carelessly also. But a tamoguni person is lazy, hence will put off. आज करे सो कल कर, कल करे सो परसों, इतनी भी क्या जल्दी है, अभी तो जीना है बरसों. That is the philosophy of a tamoguni person. So to recapitulate, enumerating the traits of tamoguni person, Shri Krishna says, those who are conceited, uncouth, envious, harmful to others, prone to moroseness, lethargy, and procrastination. Such people are said to be tamasic kartas. Now, having discussed sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic kartas, the time to tell a story, an anecdote, to clearly know the difference between the three of these. Once upon a time, in a small village near Himalaya, there lived three men. Give them some name: Dev, Raj, and Tam, whatever, who decided to go on a pilgrimage to a sacred temple high up in the mountains. Though they all had the same goal, to see the god in that temple, the spirit with which they acted was entirely different. This Tama, third person Tama, who was a tamasic karta, he was a doer in ignorance. This Tama was lazy, dull, and careless. He did not plan his journey or make any preparations. Just started walking. When others suggested carrying some food and warm clothes, he said, "Why bother? If it's meant to happen, it will happen. Anyway, who knows if God really exists there in the temple?" He walked a few miles and got tired. Began blaming everything: the cold, the rain, the sun, the path, and even the God. He complained, quarreled with his co-travelers also, and finally gave up in the midway, sleeping under a tree and muttering, "The journey is useless. No point in going there. Useless." This is tamasic karta. He acts out of delusion, is careless, lazy, and often blames his fate to others. He neither completes his duties nor accepts responsibility. His actions lead to confusion and sorrow. The other person, Raj, was a rajasic karta, doer in passion. Raj was ambitious and energetic, but full of ego and self-centered motives. He declared, "I will be the first to reach the temple. People will praise me for my courage and my determination." He started early, hurried ahead, competed with others, and when someone stumbled, he did not stop to help him. "What do I do with you? I have to go there." He constantly thought about how he would boast about his achievements back home. When he finally reached the temple, exhausted and dehydrated, he shouted, "I did it. I alone am the best. I am the best pilgrim here. But inside, his mind was still restless, craving for appreciation. कोई बोलने वाला ही नहीं मेरे को, हाँ, very good, well done. This is Rajasic Karta. He acts with attachment, ego, and desire for reward. His energy is high. Yes, Rajasic people have high energy. But his peace is low. His success brings pride and not fulfillment. While the third, Dev, the Sattvic Karta, who is a doer in purity, Dev began his journey in calmly. After preparing well, before leaving, he prayed to the God, "O Lord, guide me that my steps be steady and my heart remains pure." He walked patiently, helped others on the way, shared his food with the hungry people on the way. When tired, he rested and sang hymns of Vedas and Ramayanans. When others struggled, he offered encouragement. थोड़ा distance है, चल जाएंगे हम, we'll go, don't worry. For him, reaching the temple was not just a destination, the journey itself was an act of devotion. That is a $1 million statement. Our adhyatmic journey itself is an act of devotion. Whether we attain God or not is a different thing. The journey itself is an act of devotion. Finally, when he reached the temple, he bowed down quietly and said, "O Lord, by your grace alone I have reached here." He felt deep peace and not pride. This is Sattvic Karta. He acts without ego, with steadiness, with faith and selflessness. He remains balanced in success or failure, calm under pressure, and always devoted to his duty. So what is the moral of this story? Tamasic Karta is lazy, careless, confused, blames others, fails to complete his work. What is Rajasic Karta? Active and ambitious, but acts with ego and selfish desires, gets restless and stressed out. And what is Sattvic Karta? Calm, selfless, and steady. Acts as a servant of God without attachment to the results. His actions purify the heart and lead to the peace. So all the pilgrims walked the same path, but the only one truly reached the divine, not by distance, but by purity of heart. The Sattvic seeker sees God in every step of the journey. The Rajasic doer sees himself everywhere. The Tamasic doer, he sees only the obstacles, nothing else. Thus Krishna teaches us in this shloka, all these 3 shlokas, he who performs his duty with devotion and humility and without attachment, he alone is a true karta, the doer who attains peace and liberation. That was the karta. Now dhruti. God will tell about the dhruti. Slok 29. Buddhirvedantataschaiva gunadastivdam shunum prochamanavasheshena prathatvena dhananjayo. Here now, Shunu, Arjuna, of the distinctions of intellect, buddhi, and determination, dhruti, according to the 3 modes of prakriti, material nature, I describe them in detail. It has already been explained by Shri Krishna that egolessness, firmness, and detachment are the essentials of sattvic reality. No experience or action is sattvic without this. Intellect is the only main power at the disposal of every human being to guide him to the proper path. To follow it till end is the role of dhruti. Firmness of intellect is dhruti. This firmness is also of 3 types. Sattvic dhruti, Rajasic dhruti, and Tamasic dhruti. The human mind always oscillates, but firm intellect is very useful for success in spiritual life. Intellect is also of 3 kinds. We saw it, Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. Buddhi and dhruti are 2 factors impact the quality and quantity of work. They not only propel karma, but also control and direct it. Buddhi is the faculty of discrimination that distinguishes between the right and wrong. Dhruti is the inner determination to persist in accomplishing the karma undertaken despite hardships and obstacles on the way. So Dhruti keeps the firmness in the intellect. We have discussed Jnana, Karta, Karma, all this. Now Dhruti and Buddhi and Dhruti. Shri Krishna is therefore now volunteering to explain these virtues in details. What is Sattvika Buddhi? Pravrittinja nivrittincha karya karye bhaya bhaye bandham mokshancha ya vetti buddhissa partha sattviki. That Buddhi is Sattviki. The intellect Buddhi is said to be in the mode of goodness, Sattvik, Arjuna, when it understands what is proper and what is improper action. Pravrittincha nivrittincha. What is duty and what is non-duty? Karya and akarya. What is bhaya, abhaye? What is to be feared and what is not to be feared? Pravrittincha nivrittincha karya karya bhaya bhaye. Bandham mokshancha. What is binding and what is liberation? Vettissa buddhi sattviki. Partha, that buddhi is sattviki buddhi. So you see, we constantly exercise our free will to make choices in our life. Our cumulative choices determine where we reach in our life. Every day we make some choices. And the accumulation of our choices taken throughout the life, it determines where we live, where we reach ultimately in our life. Isn't it? Robert Frost, he described this in his poem. The name of poem is The Road Not Taken. The Road Not Taken. He says, I shall be telling with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by. So that is the choice. He opts for the road less travelled by. And that has made all the difference. That has made all the difference. So to make the right choice, we need a developed faculty of discrimination, Viveka Buddhi. The Bhagavad-Gītā itself was spoken to Arjuna to equip him with the power of discrimination, isn't it? At the outset, Arjuna was confused about his duty, his inordinate attachment to his relatives, which had clouded his judgment regarding proper and improper action. Feeling weak and fearful and in utter confusion, he had surrendered to the Lord and requested him to enlighten about his duty. Through the divine song of this wisdom, Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna Bhagavan helped Arjuna right from second adhyay, Ashochanana Shocha Sampradya Avadam Shabhachase Gatasuna Gatasuna Chanana Shojit Mandara, till the end of this adhyay, up to slok number 63, in which Lord Krishna will say, Iti te jnanam akhyatang guhyat guhyataram maya vimrushaita dasheshena yathetcha kuru. I have explained to you the knowledge that is more secret than all secrets. Guhyat guhyataram. Ponder over it deeply. Vimrushaita dasheshena. And yathetcha kuru. Then you decide as you wish. I have done my job of explaining you everything. But ultimately it is you who has to act. Then you do whatever you deem fit. The mode of goodness illuminates the intellect with the light of knowledge, thereby refining its ability to discriminate between the right and wrong of the things, actions, and sentiments. The Sattvic intellect enables us to know which actions are proper and which are to be avoided. It lets us know what we should be fearful for and what is not to be afraid of. It explains us the reason for shortcoming in our personality and also reveals solution for them. So you see, the Sattvic Buddhi always follows the path of Nivritti. कहाँ से withdraw करना है? The path of creative and spiritual orientation and actions. Pravritti on the other hand is the path of enjoyment. किसमें लगे रहना है? So it will help you to, it will force you to lage raho in the material world. Pravritti. Nivritti will teach you to withdraw from it. So that is a mental progress, but is not a mark of sattvic intelligence. Fear and blurred judgment are the marks of selfish mind. Because such a mind is motivated and apprehensively calculative. Sattvic intelligence, being sharp, shining, and knowledge-based, is bold and faultless, always aiming at good and creative. People having this discriminative power are most successful in everyday life. Sattvic buddhi not only helps you in, does not help you only in spiritualism, it helps you in your day-to-day life as well. People having sattvic intelligence can make quicker progress on spiritual path, yes. Right action is that which is in accordance with the scriptures and the Guru's Upadesha. Wrong action is that which is opposed to these principles. So that was sattvic buddhi. Now what is rajasic buddhi? Slok 31. Yeya dharmam adharmancha karyancha karyamev cha ayathavat prajanati buddhissa partha rajasi. That is rajasic buddhi. The intellect is considered in the mode of passion, rajasic, when it is confused between righteousness, dharma, and adharma, unrighteousness. Ya dharma adharmancha karyancha karyamev. What is karya and what is akarya? It cannot distinguish between worthy right and unworthy wrong actions. Adharma is that path, or rather the dharma is that path which confirms with our elite scriptures, our Shrutis of Vedas. And adharma is opposed to Vedas, opposed to Shrutis. Because Shruti is always based on truth and fairness. It is for the highest good of all because it is based on equanimity. The so-called better placed people always believe, who are well placed in their life, good position, good money, good house, good car. They believe that they act in accordance with the dharma. मैं धार्मिक हूँ, धर्म के अनुसार काम किया है, perform worthy acts and think of their material well-being or worldly prosperity as a proof of their conviction that they are dharmic. But such people are often unaware of the sattvic principles, which has little to do with the material measure of worldly well-being. If you are rich, that does not mean you are sattvic or you are dharmic. The funny part is that even Kauravas believed that they were performing worthy actions in conformity with the diktats of dharma. They also did not think that they are adharmi. Sattvic dharma is subtle and the material ego always fails to grasp this subtlety. The rajasic mind is always based on ambition and desire, which is in contrast with the sattvic dharma. Doing duty honestly is right, and dodging duty or doing it dishonestly is not. The rajasic approach is always aimed at personal gains and personal glory. So the rajasic intellect becomes mixed due to personal attachment. मुझको क्या मिलेगा इसमें? At times it seems clear, but when self-interest comes into the play, it becomes tainted and confused. For example, there are people who are very competent in their profession, but very childish in their family relations. They succeed on the career front, but fail miserably on the front of their personal front because their attachment prevents them from proper perception and conduct. The rajasic intellect, colored by attachment and aversions, likes and dislikes, is unable to make out proper course of action. It becomes confused between what is important and what is trivial, the permanent and transient, the valuable and the worthless. So sometimes they attach extra importance to their career and their position and less importance to their family relations. And then they face the music. So, but that was the result of Rajasi Buddhi. Now what is Tamasi Buddhi? Slok 32. Adharman dharma mitiya manyet se tamasa vrata sarvarthan viparitansha buddhissa partha tamasi. So this is Tamasi Buddhi. That intellect which is shrouded in darkness imagining irreligion, adharma to be dharma, adharman dharma mitya, manyase, and perceiving untruth to be truth is of the nature of ignorance, tamasi buddhi. सर्वथान विपरीतांश, जो सही उसको गलत समझना, जो गलत है उसको सही समझना. What is truth is untruth. What is untruth is truth. सर्वथान विपरीतांश. What is dharma? That is adharma. And what is dharma? That is dharma. So the tamasic intellect is without elimination of sublime knowledge. Hence it misconstrues adharma to be dharma. For example, a drunk is attached to the intoxication that alcohol provides. Hence his poor intellect, covered with fog of darkness, ajnan, cannot even perceive the sheer ruin that brings onto him, so much so that he does not even mind selling his property to get his next bottle of liquor. In tamasic intellect, the faculty of judgment and ability for logical reasoning is totally lost. So the tamasic psychology is most often rooted in the wrong and perverted ways. A tamasic person indulges in actions which are cause of pain and grief to others, as he misunderstands truth to be false and vice versa. His approach to life is based on falsehood, which lands him in vicious circle of self-destruction. Now, we have discussed Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic Buddhi. And you guessed it right, it is time for an anecdote. To clarify the difference between these three Buddhis, what is Sattvic Buddhi, Rajasic Buddhi and Tamasic Buddhi. So in the same story, we will find three characters. One is having Sattvic Buddhi, one is having Rajasic Buddhi, and one is having Tamasic Buddhi. The story goes like this. Once a wise old king wanted to understand how different people use their intelligence, buddhi. So he called three of his best drivers. Let us give them three names. Satya, Rajan and Tamas. Some names, Satya, Rajan and Tamas. And he said, ahead lies a narrow mountain road that leads to a holy shrine. So one side there is a steep valley. I want each of you to drive my chariot safely on that road and tell me how close you can drive to the edge without falling. All the three agreed. But each responded according to the quality of their buddhi. Sattvic buddhi, Sattvic, Rajasic buddhi, Rajasic, Tamasic buddhi, Tamasic. Now what is the first one did? The first person who was having Tamasic buddhi, he was careless and overconfident. Did not think of consequences. He thought, the king is testing my bravery. If I drive too far from the edge, he will think I am a coward. He cracked his whip, crushed the horses, he rather rushed the horses with his whip and said very proudly, Your Majesty, I can drive right on the edge and still it will not fall. Within minutes, his chariot bobbled, lost balance and tumbled into the valley. That is Tamasic Buddhi. It cannot distinguish between right and wrong. Sees danger as an adventure, sarvatan viparitasya, and acts blindly out of delusion and pride. It makes wrong for right and darkness for light. Sarvatan viparitasya. Now the next person, Rajan, was having Rajasic Buddhi, ego-driven intellect. Rajan was smart, ambitious. He thought, I will stay close enough to the edge to impress the king, but not so close that I will fall. He began driving carefully, but with one eye constantly glancing towards the king, seeking his approval. He stayed balanced for a while, but the horses got nervous and a wheel hit the rock. He barely managed to stop before slipping over the cliff. The king said, You came close, but you were anxious all the time. This is Rajasic Buddhi. He knows what is right and acts under the influence of desire and ego. It can distinguish between good and bad, but it justifies wrong choices for personal gain. It's clever but restless, always looking for praise and reward. So that was Rajasic Buddhi. What is Sattvic Buddhi? The third person, Satya, he bowed down before the king and said humbly to the king, Your Majesty, my duty is to bring you safely to the shrine, not to prove how close I can go to the danger. Therefore, I will stay as far away from the edge as possible. So he drove his chariot very calmly, keeping the chariot steady and centered on the path. They reached the temple safely. The king smiled and he said, You have truly shown the wisdom. The one who avoids danger altogether is the real intelligent one. This Sattvic Buddhi. It clearly distinguishes right from wrong, knows what must be done and what must not be done, and acts with steadiness, discrimination, and faith. It does not seek approval or fear criticism. It simply follows dharma. What is the moral of story? The tamasic buddhi acts blindly, driven by ignorance and laziness, calls wrong for right and right for wrong. Rajasic buddhi knows right and wrong. Yes, it does know. But twists the truth for self-interest, restlessness, and prideful. It is Sattvic buddhi, guided by truth, peace, and discernment, acts wisely for the welfare of all. So that is Sattvic buddhi. Now in this story, the chariot is our life. The road is the path of dharma, and the edge of the cliff represents temptations and ego. Tamasic intellect drives us into downfall. Rajasic intellect keeps us anxious and self-centered. But the Sattvic intellect guides us safely to our destination, peace, wisdom, and liberation. Shri Krishna says, the intellect which knows what should be done and what should not be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what binds and what liberates, Arjuna, that is Sattvic Buddhi. So this was about the Sattvic Buddhi. So having discussed about Buddhi, Sattvic, Rajasi and Tamasi, now we'll discuss about Dhruti, the firmness of intellect, firmness of Buddhi. Slok 33. Dhrutyayaya dharayate manah pranendriya kriyaha yogena vyabhicharinya tadissa partha sattviki. The steadfastness, willpower that is developed through yoga and which sustains the activities of mind, the prana, that is life air, and senses. Dhrutyayaya dharate mana pranendriya kriyaha is said to be determination, that is dhruti, in the mode of goodness, Sattvic dhruti. So the dhruti determination is the inner strength of our mind and intellect to move on the path of spirituality with tenacity, with strong resolve despite difficulties and obstacles. Dhruti is what keeps our vision focused towards our goal and mobilizes our talent, our hidden power of the body, mind and intellect to overcome apparently insurmountable impasses of our journey. Shri Krishna Bhagavan now moves on to describe three modes of determination, dhruti. Through the practice of yoga, the mind becomes disciplined and develops the capacity to rule over the senses and body. The steadfast willpower, dhruti, that develops when one learns to subdue the senses, indriya nigraha, discipline of pranana, pranayam, yoga, and control of mind, meditation, is Sattvic dhruti, determination of mode of goodness. So yoga is extremely important as it leads to equanimity of mind, which is the master achievement. There may be various techniques of yoga, but the most effective method is pranayam. In some session, I want to discuss about different pranayams and different styles of meditation. I don't know when it will be possible. Which, when done correctly, can control and regulate the mind and senses. For ideal culturing of the intellect, its cultivation through firmness is necessary. So firmness is as important as the buddhi itself. It is in the state of such firmness that the intellect becomes sattvic. Various other forms of sadhana also help in achieving this goal. But for that you have to have sattvic dhruti. Now what is rajasic dhruti? Ya dharma kamarthan dhritya dharete arjuna prasangena phalakangshi dhrutessa partha rajasi. The steadfastness, willpower, dhruti, firmness, by which one holds on to joy, holds on to duty, pleasures, and wealth, out of attachment and out of desire for rewards. Arjuna, that determination is in the mode of passion. That is Rajasic Dhruti. So the crux of Rajasic Dhruti being that it is devoid of desire for moksha and always glued to the causes of material prosperity. It keeps intellect firmly glued only to the material prosperity and not to the moksha, desire of moksha. Also ego and inflated publicity. The people of Rajasic firmness for worldly gains and possessions undertake religious or social programs and ceremonies. Yes, they do. The theme of Rajasic firmness is excessive accumulation, personal glorification, and enjoyment. The determination of firmness is not found exclusively in yogis only. Worldly minded people are also staunchly fanned by their desire for delight in the fruits of their efforts. They are focused on enjoyment, enjoying their sensual pleasures, acquiring wealth, and accumulating other materialistic rewards. And since money is the means for acquiring these, such people cling to the money for their whole life. Shri Krishna says that determination which is fueled by desires for enjoyment of rewards is in the mode of passion. That is Rajasic Dhruti, which keeps intellect firm only to tread on the path of material enjoyment. That is Rajasic Dhruti. What is Tamasic Dhruti? Ya swapnam bhayam shokam vishadam madamevacha na vivanchati durmedha tatissa partha tamasi. The unintelligent resolve is said to be the determination in the mode of ignorance, Arjuna, in which one does not give up dreaming, fearing, swapnam, bhayam, shokam, grieving, vishada, despair, madamevacha, conceit. So determination is seen in unintelligent, ignorant and indolent people also. They also have dhruti. But the dhruti is misdirected. It is the stubbornness that arises from fear, despair and pride. For instance, some people are victims of fear complex. It is interesting to note how they hold on to their fear with great tenacity, as if it is an inseparable part of their personality. There are others who make their life a living hell because they cling to some past disappointment and refuse to let it go, despite observing its very destructive impact on them. Some insist upon quarreling with all who hurt their ego and its imagined conception of others, of themselves. Shri Krishna states here that determination based on such stubbornness, clinging to unproductive thoughts, is in the mode of ignorance. That is Tamasic Dhruti. Now, having discussed the anecdote for all this, now we should discuss an anecdote for these three also, Dhruti. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived three travelers, Satya, Raja and Tama. They were friends who decided to climb a sacred mountain to light a lamp at the temple of the divine, on the top of the lamp. The climb was long, deep, and dangerous. The night before they began, the village priest said, "The path will test your endurance. You will face wind, rain, darkness. Your only light will be the lamp you carry. Protect it until you reach the temple." So each one lit a lamp and began journey. But each showed a different kind of dhruti, firmness. What is the difference? Tamasic dhruti, the lamp that went out. Tama, he started climbing full of confidence, singing and laughing. When the first gust of cold wind came, he stopped and grumbled, "Why it is so hard? This mountain is a cursed mountain. I can't do this." He sat down by the roadside. When the rain began, his lamp blew out. Instead of trying to relight it, he said, "It's fate. The God does not want me to go further." He turned back and went home. This is tamasic dhruti. It gives up easily, overwhelmed by laziness, confusion, or by fear. It holds fast to the sleep, sorrow, and despair. As Shri Krishna says, such firmness sustains one's inaction rather than one's purpose. Now, what is Rajasic Dhruti? The lamp that burned unevenly. Raja, he began his climbing the top energetically. He protected his lamp carefully, but his thoughts kept wandering. What if people praise me for this? I will tell everyone how brave I was. When the storm grew stronger, he started shouting, "I can handle anything. I am great. I can handle anything." He ran too fast, stumbled, and nearly dropped the lamp. He relit it many times on the way. But each time the wind made it flicker. Halfway up, exhausted and frustrated, he said, "Why am I suffering so much? I will go back and try again tomorrow." This is Rajasic Dhruti. It clings to the action for the sake of reward or recognition. It shows temporary enthusiasm but lacks steady focus. Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā says, it is the firmness by which one holds on to duty, wealth, and pleasure with desire and attachment. It burns brightly but unevenly, strong when convenient and weak when challenged. Now, what is Sattvic Dhruti? The lamp that reached the temple is Sattvic Dhruti. Satya, he began quietly, without pride, no complaint. He knew the path was long, but his path was steady. And his faith was also steady. When the storm came, he covered his lamp with both his hands and kept walking slowly, step by step. The strong wind almost blew it out, but he whispered, "This flame is my devotion. I must protect it." Hours later, drenched and tired, he reached the top. His lamp was still burning. He placed it at the temple altar and bowed in peace. This is Sattvic Dhruti. The firmness that remains steady through sorrow and joy, fear and temptation. It is guided by faith and self-control. That's why Krishna Bhagavan says that steadiness by which one holds the mind, the prana and the senses firm through yoga, and which remains unwavering, Arjuna, that is the Sattvic Dhruti. So what is the moral of the story? Tamasic Dhruti gives up when faced with difficulties, lacks motivation and clarity. Rajasic Dhruti strives hard but only for reward and recognition, or ego and satisfaction, and loses the steadiness easily. And Sattvic Dhruti is quiet, firm and unwavering, sustained by faith, self-discipline and higher purpose. So the lamp in this story is our goal of truth or self-realization. The storm on the way is our life's challenges. And Dhruti is the inner power that protects our spiritual flame. Only Sattvic Dhruti keeps flame alive until we reach the divine. It is not about the strength of body, but the steadiness of soul. That is Dhruti. So we stop the session for the day today. Now the forum is open for you to raise your questions. Thank you so much for your patience. Jai Shri Krishna.
Yes, Didi.
Jai Shri Krishna. That was
Jai Shri
truly enlightening. We all feel deeply blessed to have received such divine insights from you, Vikasji. It is our honor to listen to your interpretation of the Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā. Your words have inspired us to walk further on the spiritual path with greater devotion and understanding. Now, before we move ahead, here are a few announcements. Grammar classes will be conducted tomorrow to help us chant mantras and more clearly and understand Sanskrit grammar better. The Geeta Jayanti Mahotsav will be celebrated from 15th to 31st December. We look forward to celebrating together and immersing ourselves in the sacred wisdom of the Gita. You can now share the YouTube and Zoom links with your friends and loved ones so they too can join these sessions and imbibe the pure and sacred wisdom of the Gita. If any sadhaks have questions, we will address them one by one. Please raise your hands. We also request everyone to kindly keep their cameras on for a more connected experience.
Yes, Rajnish Bhaiya.
Jai Shri Krishna Bhaiya.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Uh, to a great extent, there is a clarity in what one should do while performing his duties uh, in a sattvic manner or rajsi or tamsi. But at times when you are in an organization where you are actually working with sattvic feelings that I want to do it because it is my duty, I want to perform it because it should do good to the, for example, if there you are in a university, you want that there is the welfare of the students in your mind, that they should progress. But at the same time, you are surrounded in an environment where without you produce that result for others to see, that will lead to rajsika. So how do you if you don't do, then you're doomed to fail also at times. If you do not get into that rajsi kind of competition in showing off, okay, you have done this, and you only find sattvic, then you may not be recognized, in the sense that you may not achieve the result which you want.
See, the thing is, the basic thinking is when you start thinking about the karma phala, that if I do this, then what will happen? That itself pushes you to the Rajasic karma or Rajasic karta or Rajasic dhruti. If we have to follow the path of sattvic, whether it is karta, buddhi or dhruti, we have to ignore the karma phala. If our sights are on karma phala, what will happen? What will be the result? Whether it will be favorable or not favorable, then we cannot remain sattvic. We may have to pay a price for that. Agreed. But in the long run, our conscience will be clear that I did full justice to my job and I did with full clarity of mind and for the good of all, ultimately. To help somebody and then make him pass, for example, even if he is not doing so good, it may temporarily make him happy, satisfied. You may also feel happy that, okay, I have made that student happy. But is it good for in the long run for that student? Is it good for our own conscience? It will keep biting us for the whole of our life that I did something wrong. There could be more deserving students than him, but I unnecessarily favored that guy, though he was not so deserving. If we have to save yourself from this conscious biting of yourself for the whole of your life, better to act fair and ignore the karma phala, ignore the results of your your strictness. If your strictness is sattvic, if you are doing it for a good purpose, then don't think about it. What will happen? What others will say? What university will say? What the chancellor, vice chancellor of university will say? They have their job to do. We have our job to do. If everybody starts bowing down to the pressures, then who will do the correct job? Isn't it? So there are people who bow down to pressures and they want to have temporary happiness in their life. They say, "Will let me compromise by duty, no problem." But that kind of pleasure remains temporary. As I said, the biting of our conscience, the erosion of our conscience and our samskars we are spoiling in the process. When our samskars get spoiled, our future karma also get into rajasic mode or in tamasic mode. Because ultimately are our samskars which determine what way we will work. We are working in this life because of our samskars of past life. Do you want to repair your samskars or you want to further damage it? Isn't it? So it may have a temporary backlash, but ignoring that backlash, we should focus more on improving, purifying our own samskars, which are in the larger benefit of us in the way of birth and death cycle. So that's what I suggest is the proper thing.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Guru. Any other questions? If there are no questions, we'll wind up. I have to take another 13th Adhyay sessions after 15 minutes. So,
Sure. Thank you so much, Vikas, for sharing your wisdom and guiding us so gracefully on this divine journey. Now, I would like to welcome Shri Sandeep Vaidya ji for the Pratna. He is from Kolhapur, Maharashtra. In the Geeta Pariwar, he serves as a sadhak in level 3 and offers his seva as GC and technical assistant for levels 1, 2, and 3. He joined Geeta Pariwar. In the Geeta Pariwar, he serves as a sadhak in level 3. He joined Geeta Pariwar in February 2025 and continues to be an active devotee dedicated to spiritual learning.
जय श्री कृष्ण दीदी भैया
Jai Shri Krishna.
योगेशं सच्चिदानन्दं वासुदेवं वजप्रियं धर्मसंस्थापकं वीरं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं ॐ श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु जय श्री कृष्ण.
Thank you so much, Vaidya. Jai Shri Krishna. We would also like to express our heartfelt gratitude to all our technical assistants for their constant support and smooth management throughout the session. Now, with hearts full of devotion, let us all chant the Hanuman Chalisa together. Thank you everyone for joining today's session too. Jai Shri Krishna.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारी बरनउ रघुबर विमल जसु जो दायकु फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज संवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सकै कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा। तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर है सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु, लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माही, जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज सम्हारो आपे, तीनों लोक हाँकते कांपे। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा है, प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्त न धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, कीजय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरना, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुर भूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय।
जय श्री कृष्णा।